The first concept we want to talk about today are transition words. Transition words or phrases are bridges between ideas. What it is it tells the audience where they are. It's kind of like a map. You want to use a variety of different transition words and phrases in your writing. This slide shows a number of different transition words. Some of the most common transitions are words like first, next, after that, finally. Those are very common transition words. Other types of transitions that we use quite often are transitions to indicate more information. So words like furthermore or moreover. Other ways we can use transitions is to show examples, like to say something like for instance, to demonstrate, to illustrate. All of these are transition words. Now, remember to use transition words quite often in your writing. Again, they tell the reader what you are going to talk about. If you say second, the reader knows now you're talking about a second main idea. If you say to demonstrate, the reader knows that you are going to give some type of example of what you were just talking about. If you look at this example, it's full of different types of transition words, right? It says first of all, for example, for instance, finally, for example, on one occasion. All of these are considered transition words. They let the reader know what you are going to talk about. It lets the reader know if you are talking about the first thing, the last thing. It lets also the reader know if this is an example. These are transition words. Now, these are very simple for writing. However, they're extremely important to let the reader know where we are and what we are talking about. Here are some examples of concluding transitions. We want to let the readers know when we're going to finish. So these are some examples of how we can show the reader that we're going to finish up pretty soon. We can say things like, from this we can conclude that, in conclusion, to sum up, in summary. All of these are considered concluding transitions. Now that we have a basic idea of what a transition is, let's go ahead and look at concluding sentences. A concluding sentence is the last sentence in the paragraph. It should be clear and easy to understand. You should have some type of transition word or phrase to say something like, in conclusion. Then in the last sentence, you want to restate some important information, whether that is to restate the main topic again, or you can restate the three main points that you presented in your paragraph. There's actually two ways to make a concluding sentence. The first way is to restate the topic sentence. To restate means you repeat the topic sentence, however you use different words and maybe sentence structure, but the basic meaning is almost exactly the same. The second way is to summarize the main points. You find the main points that you presented in your paragraph, and then you restate them again in your final sentence. So in this first example of a concluding sentence, I'm going to restate the topic sentence. Let's go ahead and look at this topic sentence. This topic sentence is about eBay. Now it says, successful bidding on eBay requires patience and strategy. Now let's look at the concluding sentence. I have in conclusion, which is my transition. If you wait patiently and place your bid at the correct time, you will get what you want every time. So if you look at these two sentences, the meaning is pretty similar, right? So both of these sentences talk about being patient and having strategy. The second type of concluding sentence is to summarize the main points. We'll go ahead and keep the same topic sentence. Successful bidding on eBay requires patience and strategy. Now let's go ahead and look at a summary style concluding sentence. We have to sum up. Again, we have a transition. If you research what you want, you do not panic, and you time your bid, you will be the winning bidder every time. Now when we look at this sentence, it's not exactly the same as a topic sentence, but you can see the three main ideas that we talked about in the paragraph. The first one is to do research, right? Find out what you want. The second thing is don't panic. Don't just say buy, buy, buy. You don't want to panic. And the last thing is to have good timing. Time your bid. If you do these three things, then you will be the winning bidder on eBay. Many of you might not know exactly what eBay is, so let me just tell you really quickly. Basically, eBay is one person has a product and other people bid on that product. The person that gives the highest bid then will receive that product. In conclusion, use a variety of different transition words. Transition words are really important to help the reader understand where they are in your paper. It lets the reader know if this is the first idea, second idea, if you're giving an example, if you're giving more information. Another thing, concluding sentences reminds the readers what was important in the paragraph. That's why we have a concluding sentence. There's two different ways. You can either summarize the main ideas that you talked about in the paragraph, or you can restate the topic sentence. But just to let you know, even though for this class I want you to use a concluding sentence for your assignments, concluding sentences aren't always necessary. However, they are just a nice way to wrap up the paragraph. That way people know you are finishing.